Akhet didn't come back this afternoon, and he didn't come to sleep with me either. While I appreciate that it gave me time to think and reflect on the situation with Vigo, I must admit that it also worries me. It's not like him to leave me in the dark like that, so it is with some concern that I find myself at his door early in the morning. Hey, Akhet, are you there? Are you awake? You can come in. It's open. Once in the room, a quick glance at the falcon is enough to tell me that he probably hasn't slept. I don't know what's going on, but it's clearly something serious. Is everything okay? He didn't come back yesterday, so I was a little worried. Sorry, I just got back pretty late from my meeting with Simi. I thought you were asleep and didn't want to wake you up. She kept you that long? What's going on? He sighs before sitting down in his bed. The Macadian delegation is arriving today in the afternoon at the same time as another one from Kazal. They met on the way and decided to finish their journey together. Oh, is that the one with the Rathir that caused you problems? The Rathir Jews, yes. Simi wanted to make sure that everything would be okay and that I would know how to react to her presence. If there's one thing I know how to spot is a lie, especially since Akhet isn't exactly the best at it. But if he doesn't want to talk to me about it, after all, I hid things from him too until I was forced to tell him. And you think it'll be okay? Last time I answered you almost ran away. I won't really have a choice, will I? After all, the royal bard can't run away from an official reception with important foreign dignitaries. I'll be there, and she'll never dare do anything in front of the whole court, will she? You're right, she probably won't do anything. She doesn't hate me enough to risk a diplomatic incident. At least I think so. That's real sorry. I sit down next to him and place my hand on his talons. Worst case scenario, I'll freeze her in place and leave her like that. I'm not afraid of incurring the wrath of our dear kings. Eric, do not do that. She's not some small village's noble. She's a potential heir to the Macadian throne. You can't just do whatever you want. Maybe, but here, she's in our kingdom, man. No, you don't understand. She sees you all as inferior to her, even the knights, or even the kings. She won't hesitate to demand compensation and see things as necessary, as she has the means to force most people here to accept it. All right. I'll try to behave, but if she comes after you, I feel I have the moral right to defend you. Eric, to defend you politely. He curls up against me, and I embrace him as tenderly as I can. Be careful, okay? I know what she's capable of, and she's dangerous. We're just facing a giant monster, so I think I can handle some bird. Do you know what happened to Vakad? No, I doubt they'll let me see him. I can only hope he's okay. Do you think you've made the right choice? I know what King Aeon asked you. Yes, whatever happened exactly, I refuse to believe that it was really Vakad who chose to attack us. There must be something we don't understand. And if he's sick or controlled by something, we'll be able to cure him, one way or another. At least I hope so. I'm sure we'll find a way eventually. We stayed there for a while, simply enjoying each other's company before getting ready for the day. If the delegations arrive today, the kings will want us to be present. Akhet's mood isn't improving, but at least he's not completely freaking out. That's more than I could have hoped for. As for me, well, Vigo is constantly on my mind, and I know that the longer I wait, the worse it will be. But for now, Akhet's my priority, and I can't afford to leave the castle either. Given what's about to happen, the best I can do is try to prepare for our reunion. So I asked the servant to inquire with the guards at the entrance. They must have asked Aaron and Viggo where they were staying when they arrived. Once I know where they are, I can visit them. I might as well take it at my own pace. I'll go when I'm ready, if I ever am. No, I can't let this opportunity pass me by. It's not fair to him. He's already had to wait for so long without knowing. I'd be a monster to make him wait any longer. The arrival of the foreign delegations is making itself felt in the castle. The servants are bustling about, checking that everything in the place is clean and tidy. The garden is also completely tidied up. All traces of our fight against Calathon have disappeared, almost as if nothing had happened. And yet the signs are still there. It is not Gilliant, but Maybjorn himself who is organizing the guard. A good number of soldiers are not wearing the Vistal uniform, but their own weapons and armor. They were hired urgently to replace Calathon's many victims. Among them, I spotted the white fox who knocked on my door yesterday. I suppose that explains his presence here. He gives me a brief wave of his hand as we pass each other, and I return it with a smile. All is not doom and gloom, after all. There are still people who appreciate my art here. Frostfang may heal one day. It just takes a little time. Among them, I spot the white fox who knocked on my door yesterday. I suppose that explains his presence here. He gives me a brief wave of his hand as we pass each other, and I return it with a smile. All is not doom and gloom, after all. There are still people who appreciate my art here. Frostfang may heal one day. It just takes a little time. It is late afternoon when the bells ring out, signaling the arrival of the delegations in the city. We then make our way to the great reception hall for the first time since the contest. I must admit that I feel a slight apprehension at the thought of entering. It's silly, of course, since I'm not going to be branded a second time, but I can't help it. The first thing I notice when I enter is how much the room has changed. The stage has disappeared, and the judges' chairs have been replaced by two thrones on which the kings are seated. By Tessel, Aeon almost looks like he's about to die. I think he hasn't recovered from his fight with the beast yet. I'm sure he'll be back on his paws soon. Despite what I say, I can't help but worry about the king. The bloody coughing fit that struck him after the fight was not reassuring, and the fact that he ordered me not to say anything leads me to believe that this was not the first time it had happened to him. But Lust is one of the best healers in the kingdom. I'm sure they know what they're doing. We take our places at the foot of the thrones next to other members of the council. Astrid greets us briefly, as does Edwin, then Vo approaches to stand next to me. How are you? As well as can be expected, given the circumstances. Perfect. Sold them only the bare minimum of your brand. They'll ask for a demonstration at some point, just freeze a small object. Don't let them know that you can freeze an entire person. And above all, they don't have to learn about all the other powers of your brand. Did I make myself clear? I'm not stupid, Vo. I don't intend to give more information than necessary to potential enemies. Good. And Eric, what now? Try to control your humor. You're not dealing with just anyone. The Emperor's son is not very fond of jokes, and I'm sure Akhet has already informed you of the importance of the Rathirs. The Emperor's son, wait, the Khazarian delegation includes the Crown Prince? That should be enough to make you understand how important it is to make a good impression here. Tanakh will act as an intermediary, but we still need to present ourselves in the best possible light. I didn't expect an imperial presence here. I don't even know if such a visit ever happened in my lifetime. And given the lack of specific ceremony for this, something tells me it's a surprise to everyone. I wonder what could have prompted the air to come all this way. Understood, I won't screw this up, though, and I intend to keep an eye on him as much as possible. Akhet gives me a small smile, clearly trying to hide his nervousness. A loud clap echoes through the room, forcing silence, and our eyes turn to the entrance where Clovis has struck his staff on the ground. Here comes the representative of the noble nation of Akhet, the ring of light, the Wither, Zerut. An eagle in a long black robe enters, walking slowly and solemnly, with two servants walking behind her. No, not servants, the small horned ibex, like Anthracans accompanying her, wear thin metal collars around their necks. Slaves. How dare she? Astrid stops, but she is not the only one who is stopped. Murmurs and whispers can be heard in the room as the Akkadian continues to walk forward without paying attention. Even I can understand her intention. She knows perfectly well that we cannot accept this kind of behavior here. She also probably knows that several people present at the ceremony are former slaves. The Wither is simply challenging us, knowing full well that we can't afford to attack her openly. Which makes me realize that Simi isn't here. That was probably a good thing, as I don't think she would have taken it very well, and rightly so. But it's still strange not to see her participating in such an event. However, no one has time to dwell on the scandal as the second strike of the stick rings out through the room. His Imperial Majesty, heir to the throne of Khazal, the holder of lightning, the blue serpent, Lord Wapa. And like Zeraut, Khazal envoy stands alone before us. However, this does not detract from his regal presence. He is dressed much more warmly than Tanakh, with a thick layer of fur around his neck, but more than that, his sobriety contrasts with the ambassador's flamboyance. Lord Wapa wears no jewels or feathers. He asserts his status by his mere presence. And I must admit that he succeeds. Aeon then rises from his throne, and from where I stand, I can see him flinch for a moment before quickly regaining his composure and standing as straight as usual. It is a pleasure and an honor to receive such illustrious guests. It is rare for our three nations to be assembled in a peaceful context, even rarer for representatives of the high nobility to meet. So, welcome to my home, and may your stay be a pleasant one. We would not refuse such an invitation. With everything that is happening here, at the moment the world's attention is focused on phosphate. Not to mention that you have appointed one of our exiles to a position of high importance. I can't help but be curious about the role that little Akhet might have here. I feel the bird trembling beside me, and I reach out to grasp his claw, holding it as gently as possible in the hope of calming him. I appreciate your hospitality, Lord Aeon. When the journey has been long, and these temperatures do not suit me well, I would appreciate being able to rest and quickly get down to business. I've had a look at the treaty drafted by the ambassador, and I have a few suggestions for changes. I also need to check on the progress of our previous agreement. Of course, the rooms have been prepared, and we will arrange a meeting tomorrow. For my part, I would like to meet the royal bards this evening. I'm curious to see what this is all about, as well as to celebrate my reunion with Akhet. Do we know each other? We had to put up with his presence in our home during the last years of my father's life. Yes, put up with his presence. What does he mean by that? Very well. We will ask the royal bards to meet you in your room once you have had time to settle in. I have no doubt that they will be delighted to meet you in person and to see you again in Akhet's case. I tightened my grip around the falcon's talons. The message is clearly addressed more to us than to Zeraut. An option, and we better give her a nice, polite smile when we get there. which may be challenging given that the little I've seen of her rubs me the wrong way, very much so. Perfect. I have no doubt that they will show all the enthusiasm this meeting requires. I must also admit that I'm also curious to see the brand of a forgetful one up close. Not to mention that I understand he has been involved in some unusual events lately, and who better than a board to explain the latest news from your city? But that can wait. I must first speak with the ambassador Tanakh. Lorvo, I would also like to speak with you. Of course, the church and I are entirely at your disposal, my lord. Thank you. I can only hope for the best news regarding the process of our joint projects. What is he talking about? It can't be a complete secret if he's discussing it publicly, but he's only giving enough information for those already in the know to understand. Out of the corner of my eye, I look for Tanakh, quickly finding him in the crowd. I have rarely seen such a serious expression on the ambassador's face. His attention is entirely focused on Huapa. Wait a second, Huapa. Didn't he say that was his brother's name when we were talking in the baths? Is Tanakh the Emperor's son, too? No, that's impossible. He would never stop bragging about it. Maybe Huapa is just a common name in Khazal. I observed the two lizards trying to see if they look alike. The problem is, I have nothing to compare them to. For all I know, all similarities I find between them simply exist because they belong to the same species. Plus, Huapa is blue, Tanakh is green. Is it possible to have two children of different colors? I'll have to ask the ambassador about it. Let's hope he'll accept to answer me. It's getting late, and although we are delighted to have you here, I have no doubt that you are exhausted from your journey. We will show you to your apartments. A banquet will be organized shortly to celebrate this occasion as it deserves. Thank you again for coming. The king stands up abruptly, signaling the end of the event. Thus and he descended from their thrones and walked towards the exit door, and as I listened closely, I could hear a brief coughing fit. Aeon has clearly still not recovered. A slight commotion begins in the reception hall, and I can see Clovis approaching Ziraut to guide her to what I assume will be her room, while Tanakh does the same for Huapa. And at the exit, Lus is waiting for us, alone this time. You two, follow me. Is there a problem? Not yet, but I'd like to make sure there won't be one in the near future. Wait, I feel like I'm about to get another lecture on my behavior. Seriously, who do they think I am? Of course, Akhet gives me a tense smile and I sigh. I guess I don't really have a choice. The bear then leads us deeper into the castle corridors. Once we are alone in the wing where I know no one else will come to listen to us, I allow myself to ask the king one of the many questions that'll bother me. Les, how's your husband? I haven't seen him since the fight with Calathon, and he doesn't exactly look well. The bear pauses briefly before resuming his walk, as if he were pretending nothing happened. He's recovering. The fight exhausted him. He needs more time to rest, but soon he'll be back in top shape. What about his cough? Don't worry about that. He'll be fine, I guarantee it. I already know, thanks to Simi, that this isn't the case. That is more a consequence of the ink stone than of the fight itself. So the question is, who is Lus lying to, me or himself? As I ponder this, we finally arrive at the door to the council chamber, which we enter and close behind us. Good, now we can talk freely. No one can hear us here. Do we really have to meet her? On that point, I'm afraid you have no choice. Apart from the insult that it would be not to meet her, there is also the problem of what the court of Foxfang would think when they hear the news. I figured as much. Simi told us your version, of what happened, Akhet. I know that we have chosen to believe you. We will help you as much as we can, but we are limited in our actions. What are you talking about? Les gives me a surprised look before turning to Falcon. You didn't tell him? I didn't. I didn't dare. The king sighs before running a hand over his head, over his face, and grunting. Sort this out before you meet her. He can't go in there without knowing what's going on. I must admit, I'm a little lost here. I'll explain. Akhet's voice is almost as tense as it was during the fight against Kellethan. What's going on exactly? Good. As for you, Eric, he turns to me, fixes his gaze on me. And now, the lesson on my behavior. Zezrut is part of a faction in Akhet more than the others. Zezrut is part of a faction in Akhet that, more than the others, wants a new war against Phosphate. She lost several family members in the last one and is seeking revenge. Alright? Which means she'll jump at any opportunity to try to force you into a diplomatic faux pas. Please try to. Not push things too hard. Not push things too hard. Stay nice and polite, I know. No, you don't know. I saw your reaction when the two slaves appeared, and no doubt she knows it too. That's why she brought them, to force our hand. She's going to play on that. She'll try to provoke you both with it. The general opinion on slavery here is no secret. I'll be careful. I promise. I know how to control myself if necessary. I say that, but at the same time, I can't help but ask the following question. Can we help them? Do anything for them? Did you hear what I just said? Yes, of course, but we can't leave them like that either. Is there anything we can do? I'm not going to start a war over two slaves, Eric. Not to mention that they probably don't want our help. What? If she took them with her, it's because she's certain they'll remain loyal, either because they're satisfied with their current situation or because she has a way of keeping them in line. They probably don't want to be freed. And if we try anything, they'll immediately warn their mistress. So what, we just leave them alone? We don't really have a choice. It's not fair. It's not right. Sometimes, unfortunately, we don't get to fix problems. We have to do the best we can with the hand we're dealt. I don't like it. I know they're right, but I don't like it. There's this feeling of helplessness again. I have to leave you now. I can't say what you have to say and then go meet Zezrut. Zezut sees in the highest room in your wing in the castle. After knocks. Good luck and be careful. I will be. The bear gives us one last look before leaving us alone. And Cat almost immediately twists his talons and claws, twisting in all directions. It can't be that bad. You've already told me what your father forced you to. That was different. I opposed him to take his talons in my hands. You didn't judge me when I told you what happened in Skarna. You know you can tell me anything, too. He sighs. My father kicked me out of the house when I was 16. Not officially, of course, since that would have been 2 months of a scandal, but it was basically the same to me. I was taken in by the Wathir, Zahir, Zerut's father. A former war general. He's the one who gave you he's the one who gave you loot, right? Yeah, unfortunately he was old. His mind was tired. Sometimes he would forget things. He didn't know where he was or who other people were. Over time it got worse. He would spend entire days convinced that I was his son who had died in battle years before. He would always come to his senses after a while, but it happened more and more often in the episodes were getting longer and longer. I'm sorry to hear that. From what you've told me, he was kind to you. Very kind. That's probably why Zerud hates me so much. One day I was playing the lute in his room, as I did every evening. He told me he couldn't take it anymore, that he didn't want to keep losing himself in his own mind like that. He made me understand that death would be preferable to the humiliation of his age brought upon him. Tears are slowly rolling down my companion's cheek, and I don't dare react for the moment. I'm afraid of interrupting him. He told me he had ordered a special beverage, his favorite. It was a modest wine made from grapes native to the region where he grew up. Then he asked me to pour him a glass and bring it to him, since he no longer had the strength to do it himself. I knew what he was really asking. I knew perfectly well that he was giving me a chance not to. But how could I? How could I refuse such a thing to the Anthrocan who had done so much for me, who was suffering in the worst possible way? How could I deny him the honor of living as he was, while still fully himself? I poured him his wine and brought it to him. Then I watched him drink it, and somehow it relieved me. Akhet, it was what he wanted. What else could I do? Nothing. You made the right choice. I hope I would have had the courage to do the same. He asked me to play him one last tune, then he told me to leave as quickly as and as far away as possible. He said I wasn't suited for Makad. I stayed until he fell asleep, and then I took my lute, the gift he gave me, the only thing that was truly mine, and I left for Phosphine. And that's where I found you. I wandered around a bit before that, but pretty much yes. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Akhet. Now you know that I killed someone who had shown me nothing but kindness, someone who helped me more than anyone else before I met you. I don't think that's how you should see it. But that's what happened. I don't think so, not really. He helped a friend by putting him out of his misery. He granted an old Anthrocan his wish. And although it was not pleasant to do it, I don't think it's wrong. It was a difficult choice to make, and I don't know if I would have been able to do it. Then why do I feel so guilty? It's still a difficult choice to make, but do you really think everything would be better if you had refused to give him the wine? He takes a second, breathing deeply to calm himself and think about the question. I don't think so. There you see. I come over and hug him, resting my head on his, staying there long enough to calm him down. Are you going to be alright? Yes, I think so. Can you explain why Luz said he believed you're a virgin now? What does that mean? After I fled, Zerut accused me of murdering her father. She demanded a trial which took place in Makad. In your absence, where you couldn't even defend yourself, it wouldn't have changed anything. I'm just excited, so my words are worthless compared to that of a Rathier. I was found guilty of the murder of the Rathier Jahir and sentenced to exile. Oh, this letter is. And Simi knew of it. Akhet gives me a puzzled look, then smiles sadly. Did you think they would let a Makadian enter the court of Phosphate without inquiring about him? It didn't take them long to find out. I suppose the royal family must have decided that was enough to prove I wasn't working for the enemy, or that they could use it against me if necessary. Yeah, that's just like them. But you're already in exile, so what Jiao's doing here? I don't know how to pronounce this word here. Zeut. out. I don't know. That's what worries me, actually. I don't think it's just to see if I'm good. I don't think it's just to see if I'm good. We'll find out soon enough, I suppose. If things go bad, no matter what Lust says, I won't let her hurt you. I appreciate that, but please don't start a war over me. I guess I can try, but I won't promise anything. Oh, also, no more secrets, okay? I told you everything, and you told me everything. Yes, I promise. Good. I think we've been through enough disasters for a lifetime. I'm not sure I can take much more. I leaned down to rest my forehead against his, gingerly rubbing my snout against his beak. Are you ready to face her? Not really, no, but do I have a choice? I guess not. We stayed in this position for a moment before parting with a sigh. Yet I keep his talon firmly between my fingers. As we reach the floor for dignitaries, we come across a strange duo walking down the hallway towards us. Each one approaches at his usual slow pace, accompanied by the new guard I met yesterday. Lord Edwin, what a surprise. We didn't expect to see you here. Oh, Royal Barge, as always, it's a pleasure to meet you. Hello, oh, Akhet, I haven't told you yet, but I met this guard yesterday. He loves our work, apparently. The fox grins, then raises a hand, causing a small bird and a small saddle rabbit to appear and dance together. Oh, that's lovely. You have a real gift with your brand. The fox smiles even more brightly. It looks like I'm surrounded by artists. It seems so. By the way, when did you start needing an escort? In light of recent events, as well as the presence of more foreigners than usual in the castle, I prefer to take precautions. You understand that at my age I can no longer defend myself, so I have to be careful. I can understand that, my lord. Are you returning from a meeting with the Rathir? Although it's none of your business, yes, the Rathir Zerud is an important customer of the Kingdom of Frostfang when it comes to purchasing some very specific rare woods, so a courtesy visit seemed necessary. We sell wood to Makan. We sell wood to anyone who wants to buy it, my boy. That makes sense, I suppose. I imagine we also buy from them, which is a much bigger problem, knowing the way they treat their workers. But we're not here to talk about economics. The Rathir is obviously waiting for you, and we shouldn't keep her waiting. Of course. Have a good day, sir. The squirrel sighs and then continues on his way, followed by the fox, who bows briefly to say goodbye. That guard is very quiet. He's mute. He came into my room yesterday after you left. And he did the same little trick with his saddles. Oh, that's sad. But he's really good with his brand. I'd love to be able to do something like that. Me too. I would have much preferred that to what I have now. It would have caused me fewer problems. But you wouldn't be where you are now. Are you saying I wouldn't have won the contest? But no, that's not what I mean. What I wanted to say is that things would be different. I'm joking, relax. I grin at him before gently pulling on his hand so we can keep moving. The sooner we get there, the sooner it will be over. He nods silently as he clearly grows more nervous as we get closer. When we reach the door, when we reach the room, I give a few sharp knocks on the door. Rathir Zerud, it's Eric and Akhet, the royal bards. You asked to see us? You were quicker than I expected. You, go open the door for them. And only a few seconds later, the door opens on one of the Horn Africans who accompanied the Rathir into the throne room. As he bows before us and lets us pass. The room was quite similar to Astrid's richly decorated and furnished, and Zerut herself is seated on a large sofa full of colored cushions, the second slave standing behind her, carrying a tray covered with treats that he regularly presents to his mistress. Well, well, it's been a long time, Akhet. Well, there, Zerut. Won't you introduce me to your new little companion? Well, social climb, after all. You went from being with a miserable slave to one of the royal advisors. Akhet flinches when he hears these words and my blood boils. I didn't expect her to be so blunt. Staying calm may be more difficult than I thought if she continues on this path. I can introduce myself with you, Eric Scorner, Royal Board of Frostfang, bearer of the brand of NeveN. It is an honor to meet you. I exaggerately bow, not enough to be truly insulting, but enough to show that it's not sincere. Who could play these games? The brand of NeveN, I must admit, I'm curious about it. I would love to see a demonstration to witness what you are capable of. No doubt you'll have the opportunity since King Lusk and Aeon will probably ask us to sing for you at the banquet. I'd rather not wait. Her gaze meets mine, and that's when I realize that she's not joking. She expects me to obey her immediately. It's not even a possibility in her mind that I refuse. Fine, but if she expects me to show her the details, she can kiss that goodbye. In that case, I suppose I can make an exception and spoil the surprise a bit. I take a deep breath and begin to sing a simple tune to awaken my brain. I didn't ask you to sing. It's necessary, I'm afraid. And I will take that as well. Without waiting for a response, I reach out to take a pastry from the tray held by the slave. If she's not going to be polite, I'm not going to be either. However, I don't like the idea of letting someone be used like a piece of furniture, but Lusk is right. There's nothing I can do about it right now. It better be worth it. Let's try to ignore her. Eric, I better focus on what you're doing. I hold the pastry up to her face, then concentrate on I hold the pastry up to her face, then concentrate on it for a moment and freeze it in place. I then remove my hand, leaving it floating in the air. There. That's it. What do you mean by that? You can make a mere pastry float in the air, and I'm supposed to be impressed? It's not floating in the air, it's frozen in time. Stuck right at the moment I use my brand on it. Indestructible. Immovable. It will stay there until I snap my fingers. It's not necessary, but I might as well let him believe that I need gestures to use my power. Make my brand dormant. The pastry falls as I'm struck by the vision of what could have been. It seems that today is not working. Pathetic. An incompetent branded by a forgetful one. Right there, don't talk to him like that. Silence, traitor. I forbid you to speak to me in that tone. And I forbid you to talk to Akhet in that one. Nice. This woman is overflowing with joy and good spirits. But I can't blame her for something that really didn't happen. Not openly, anyway. I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting something more grandiose. I guess I can't ask for 2 months coming from a Frostian. She then turns to the slave who opened the door for us before barely pointing at the pastry. Without saying a word, the horned African bends down to pick it up before returning to his place. The urge to slap the bird is strong. Nah, thank you. Lord, please, not even a proper demand. It hasn't been 2 months since he got his brand. Wathier, you can't ask 2 months of him. Please forgive him. What the? It's not the words that shock me, but the tone. Akhet sounds detached, like he's not really there. It's almost frightening. There's no way I'm letting him have this sort of mood while I'm here. What's more, my brand depends a lot on what I can prepare in advance. As I told you before, my demonstration and the banquet will be far more impressive. Besides, it's impossible for me to miss your brand of Ilaria. I dare imagine you're capable of quite a few things yourself. I'm not the one who needs to prove her worth. Of course, is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'd rather leave you to whatever you have to do. No doubt you must be exhausted. Oh no, I still need to talk to your companion. The venom in that last word is almost palpable. Me? Obviously, you didn't think I let my father's murderer stand in front of me without a reaction, did you? I don't. Do you dare deny it? Do you really want to question the word of a Wathir? No, but I dare. Silence falls over the room as all eyes turn to me. I hope I heard you well. I doubt your words, but I'll repeat myself just in case. Akhet didn't murder anyone. That's not for you to decide. Stay in your lane, and don't forget who you're talking to. I know perfectly well who you are and I. Eric, please, think about what the king said. I turned to Akhet, briefly meeting his pleading gaze. Fuck. I take a deep breath before facing the Wathir again. I'm afraid we'll have to disagree on that one. It doesn't matter. He's been tried and convicted anyway, and I am bearing the punishment that has been imposed upon me. I'm in exile. That should be enough for you, shouldn't it? Not quite. Is it really punishment to be exiled to the royal palace of Phosphane? I know it's not Makhet's comfort, but here you accepted his perversions. What is he talking about? A movement beside me tells me Akhet is pulling away slightly. What the? Oh, the bitch. I do not allow. However, even without counting that, your exile is only one part of the punishment. Pardon? What do you mean? Akhet has also lost his status as a Syed, and he knows as well as I do what that means. No. He raises a talon to caress a gold that extends out his eye. I'm not leaving here without getting back what's mine. I have the right to your anels and reparation for your crimes. It's out of the question. I won't let you mutilate him. This has nothing to do with you. This is a Makhetian matter between Makhetians. Awanak Testiru v Eliak Kaf Wina. La Hatli Siam an. I'm here, so please speak in a language that I can understand. A royal bard, a representative of the kingdom who doesn't even speak our language? I have other priorities. I wonder what they are. But never mind. Like I said, it's none of your business. I'm afraid it is. Not only is Akhet my companion, but he's also the royal bard of Phosphane. You won't be able to do anything to him without the express permission of the kings, and I doubt they'll give it to you. I don't know if you should calm down a bit, Eric. Really? You actually think they're going to risk denying me what's rightfully mine? Don't overestimate your importance. And don't underestimate me. I've defeated more powerful and more frightening than you. Allow me to doubt that. We're glaring at each other now. There's no way I'm giving in. It's probably best that we leave now. Have a good evening right there. That's right. Get out of my sight. I settled for a grunt responsible for stepping outside, making a so of opening and closing the door while making sure the slave can't even get close to it. Once in the hallway, I stride forward with an annoyed step, a strong urge to hit something running through me. Eric, calm down. calm down. Have you seen how she talks to us and how she treats her slaves? Lust warned us that this is what she would do. She's trying to get you to do something bad. Oh, well, she really looking for that. I'll give her complete satisfaction. If she thinks I can't slap her because she's a foreign dignitary, she's in for a big surprise. And she wants to rip off your nails. They're attached to your face. I don't even want to imagine how painful that could be. There's no way I'm letting that happen. Eric, he raises his voice, forcing me to pause a bit. I appreciate your reaction, I really do, and I understand that you're worried and angry. But that doesn't mean you can do what you please either. You have to be careful. You can't just go ahead and do whatever. I don't want her to hurt you. I don't want her to talk to you like that. That's all. I know, but you understand that if you take the slightest wrong step, it could have consequences beyond us. So far, you've been right about one thing. Our position offers me a degree of protection. She can't officially attempt anything without the agreement of the kings. She seemed confident she could convince him. I know, but that gives us time to do the same, or find another solution. We can't afford to lose our heads and get carried away. Not here. Not right now. You see what happens with Calathon when we act on a whim. Those last words probably hurt more than Akhet intended, and from the look on his face, I think he realizes it. He's right, though. I should learn from my mistakes instead of making them over and over again. Sorry, you're right. I just got carried away. The way she acts and talks about us and our relationship and what she wants to do to you. Two Africans of the same sex can't love each other. At least that's how it is in Akhet. Masters can sleep with their slaves, but only for their own pleasure, never for love. From her point of view, what we are is a perversion, an error of nature. That doesn't excuse the way she talks, but it's all she knows. I could have been the same if I hadn't run away. You could never have been like that. This isn't you. I hope you're right. So what can we do? Right now, probably nothing. I'll talk to King Lust in the morning and explain what happened. I'll try to smooth things over a bit and not say everything you said. It's probably for the best. Probably. And in the meantime, you can sort out your own problems. What are you talking about? I haven't forgotten about Vigo, and I refuse to believe that you have. Nope, indeed. So, well, I'm with Lusk. I'll go and see him. Yes, I understand. Have you thought about what you're going to say to him? Barely, but I don't know exactly what to say, especially since I'm not sure how he'll react. You can't drag this out, especially after everything that happened at the castle entrance. I know. I promise I'll go tomorrow. I'll figure out what to say, and I'll try to fix things between us. I remained silent for a moment before sighing as we entered my room. In a way, I'm glad to see him. I miss him, sincerely, and there's a part of me that I don't know. I hope things could go back to the way they were maybe. But that's not possible, not only because it would be a really bad idea, but also because I love you, wholly and deeply. I love you too, and I can understand you. I don't know how to react but I trust you. But I trust you. I know you'll do the right thing for yourself and for Vigo. I wish I could trust myself as much as you trust me. I haven't always been perfect at handling these situations, but you've changed and you've learned since then. He moves closer to me to snuggle and rub his beak against my muzzle. I'll be alright, I'm sure. We've been through so much together, and nothing could be worse than what we've already been through. We stay like this for a while, simply holding each other. Akhet eventually leaves, however, preferring to sleep in his room tonight, no doubt to consider the best outcome of action. The best course of action. And I still probably do the same. Once undressed, I let myself fall into bed, my thoughts wandering around Vigo and what I might tell him. The truth, probably, that's without doubt the best thing there is to say. That I'm sorry that I wish things had turned out differently. The only thing I can really hope for is that he'll accept my apology, even if I doubt I deserve it. To be continued. Hello everyone. We hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you would, if you want more information about NeveN, feel free to follow us on Twitter. We also have a Discord allowing you to chat among community members. Finally, if you would like to support our project, we also have a Patreon that offers you a series of benefits, such as bills 2 weeks in advance, but also unique stories about the characters of NeveN. If you like the VN, please also feel free to rate us on Itch.io. It will help us out a lot. Once again, a big thanks to all of you, and see you soon. Okay, so we have to see another Makhetian and another Khazarian also. So both of them are very serious, and Zelt, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I'm just going to say Zelt. But as far as Zelt is concerned, based on what we heard from Makhetians, she is a very typical Makhetian, and she is very much the same in the regard like with slavery, and as well as her place, her rank. And this person could very well become the new emperor of Akhet. I don't know if it's emperor or king of Akhet, but anyway, she could very well become the new leader of Akhet. And if that's the case, and I think things are going to regress even more than they already are in Akhet. Because she's very extreme, even for Makhetian standards. And apparently some people see Nu were killed in the war between Akhet and Frostfangs. She wants revenge on Frostfangs. And while she very much looks down on Frostfang, even she knows she has to play it good. She kind of has to be cautious because, you know, it's still Frostfang and you're in the presence of the kings, and you gotta be cautious. But yeah, she's the typical Makhetian, and Akhet dwelled. I mean, he dreaded on having to meet her now, and she very much looks down on Akhet, and she even hates him even more now since Akhet gave that drink to his uncle. Yeah, he gave that drink to uncle because his uncle requested the drink because he wanted to die. He wanted to die, he wanted his life to be over with, so Akhet gave what his uncle wanted, but it got him in big trouble, and he had a trial without him being there. He was guilty, and he was exiled to Frostfang, and that's how he met Eric. So I'm surprised they didn't, given how important his uncle is, that he wasn't sentenced to death or anything like that. But I guess being a Syed gives you a lesser punishment. Anyway, so Akhet's a Syed and sees a Rathir, so I think she has more gold markings on her than Akhet does, I think. So she's of higher rank, and she's in a Rathir, somebody who's eligible for the throne. And Akhet is not. He's part of the nobility, but he's like a lower noble. Like, they're basically the class that captures slaves and trains them. So she brought her slaves with her to provoke people. She wanted to provoke people by bringing slaves because she knows what Frostfang's position on slavery is. So she brought her slaves with her, and Eric was not happy. and that he wanted to free them. However, King Lust told him that while he didn't like the situation either, he was not about to risk putting Frostfang at war over two slaves. And I agree with King Lust on that. I mean, it's sad to see people like that being slaves, but there's nothing you can do about it. But apparently, Eric doesn't get that. I mean, his reaction to the slaves. Eric certainly has strong morals, and that's what I like about Eric. I like that about him. He has strong morals, but he has to realize that there's really nothing they can do about the slaves, and like I forgot who said this other. Maybe it was Akhet, I don't know, or King Lust maybe, but one of them said that it could be a situation where the slaves may be okay with their position. So much so that if Eric tries to do anything with Zezrud or Zezrout, or if something happens that might put a danger to her, or then the slaves will warn her. Yeah, they would much rather warn her than take the opportunity to be free. So, yes, it's sad of their possession, but there's nothing you can do for them. You just have to worry about your business. And Eric did a demonstration, and she wasn't all that impressed. But I think she may be impressed once the main event comes, when Eric gives a bigger demonstration for everyone. So anyway, Eric having the brand of a forgetful one has gotten the attention of both her and the Khazarian Crown Prince. He's very much interested in what Eric can do also. So in the next update, we should see what Eric can do in that event. I guess. I hope we see it in the next update. Because sometimes you might think something happens in the next update, and the next update instead is just something kind of stories kind of drag their feet a little bit with progressing. So it may be the next update for Akhet that we get to see Eric demonstrate his powers, or later on, but I don't know. So anyway, Eric is going to meet Vigo, and Vigo, he's going to have to realize, once Eric tells Vigo about the relationship, Vigo will have to realize that Eric has moved on. He's in love with somebody else now, and that kind of life they had or wanted to have is not possible anymore. So it's sad. It will be heartbreaking for Vigo, but he's going to have to accept the fact that Eric is somebody else now, that Eric is a different person now, and he'll have to just go about his life without Eric. He'll find somebody else. So I understand it's hard, but that's the way it is. Alright, so that's all for now for Akhet chapter 10. I really like this update with the politics and the complications of politics, and having to fight your battles, and what battles not to fight, and deal with, like maneuvering around important people. You gotta have to self your pride when dealing with powerful people, Because unfortunately, when it comes to powerful people, that's kind of like a perk of the position. When you're a powerful person, you can be disrespectful. You can be a jerk. You can be a jerk to people because you were in a position of authority. Unfortunately, that's just the perk or the advantage of being a powerful person. And that's what Zezwit, Zezout, or her name is, that's what she did. She knows that there's nothing that that Akhet and Eric can't really do anything towards her, so that's how she acts. She knows the power dynamic, the power difference between them is greater, so yeah, she gets to act like that and get away with it. But I do like that Eric stood up for himself and Akhet in front of her, even if it's not really wise. I mean, when you get taught like that, it's very hard not to contain yourself. You don't like being disrespected, even from somebody who is very powerful and who might become the new ruler of Akhet soon. I mean, you can't take crap from everybody, even if that person has power. But also you got to consider the risk of doing that, and that's just politics. And Eric is not a politician. He's very new to being a noble. He's new to this. So I understand why he wasn't all that good with controlling his emotions and while they were in the room with Zezut. So that's all for chapter 10 for Akhet. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.